From Tobacco Republic in Loomis, California, the Loomis Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Hey, back at it again. Welcome back. I'm Scott Robinson with you here on a new edition of Beyond the Humidor. Haven't cut my cigar yet, and there's a reason for that, but I am enjoying my Macallan as usual. So I'm not doing a rant today per se, but I'm just going to dive into what I'm smoking besides what I'm drinking here. This is a little pretty. What's that now?
I say, why we got no rant today? What's the deal?
Well, not really. I can't call this a rant. And if you have, as you say, patience, grasshopper, you will understand.
10-4 standing by.
All right. So I got this little beauty I've been coming here for like 10 years, I just realized. I think I showed up in 2012 here at Tobacco Republic, and the proprietor was kind enough to give me a tour of the humidor. And I swear, this guy's like a dope dealer. He starts out, he says, hey, you want to have some fun? He gives me a Lancero to smoke, and as I'm smoking this Lancero in the humidor, as I'm going through cigars to pick, he opens. What they have there is a black armoire cabinet. We call it the black cabinet. The black cabinet has all these exquisite, beautiful cigars. And of course, that's the expensive one. We didn't have Davidoff yet, so that was where you get the most expensive cigars, before we had the Davidoff room. And I picked up a 3-pack of these cigars in this unique, okay, I guess we can go with that. That's usually reserved for Davidoff, but what the hell? So, Bandolero, which is what I'm going to be smoking today, it's produced out of Selected Tobacco, which is ran by Nelson Alfonso. And you've got 3 brands coming out of that house, Atabey, Byron, and the Bandolero. Where it gets its name from is about, in a span of 100 years between 1717 and 1817, Spanish monarchy didn't allow cigar production in the American Caribbean colonies. So they leave the leaves to grow in those areas, and it could only be done, the production could only be done at the Sevilla Royal factory in Spain. The Bandolero, its genesis, comes from someone during this period who bootlegged tobacco leaves to have them rolled in other countries. Hence, that's where we get Bandolero. Now, I got a 3-pack of these, and it was actually the Atabey, the Byron, and the Bandolero. And I made a pack that day that I will only smoke these if something really good happened or something really bad happened. It'd be one of those kind of special occasion cigars, not an everyday go-to. So this is the last of them, and you're probably asking a question, what happened? So last week I had the misfortune of my little guy, my Pomeranian of 12 years, passed away. So in honor of Reno, I am going to be smoking this cigar today. And we're not going to do a whole sad Captain Bring Down kind of thing. I mourned him last week, so we're just going to be talking about funny shit about Reno. Yeah, this is the dog that these two wanted to fucking get a stroller for, which never happened because you talked about it too damn much.
Yeah, and it kind of also worked out that, getting it into your house would have been a bit of a challenge.
Just a tiny bit. But anyway, so I'm going to smoke and enjoy this, and we'll talk about the taste as I go. I looked at a couple of reviews. Leather and chocolate comes to mind. We'll see how true that is, if it comes to fruition or not.
Yeah. But
I've smoked Atabeys. Oh, you want to talk about some lovely cigars. If I can't get a hold of a Partagas, Atabey is a very, very close contention.
Solid cigars, man.
Yeah, we've got a friend in Costa Rica, and I want to go visit them. And one of the things I want to do is get a nice big suitcase and go to Select Tobacco and just, fill that with Atabeys, because I think they get them for like $10 a stick out there.
I think it's less than that. It's like 6 to 8 a stick or something like that.
Holy crap.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
Good versus, 60 here.
Right.
If you can find them.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, you got to pay the government.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
So, quick comment. Have you guys noticed that when we start the podcast, every time Camera Monkey counts down and everybody like freezes? like you're in the lineup waiting for somebody on the other side of the glass. Go, that's him right there. That son of a bitch right there.
Kind of familiar with that, Playboy?
Why you got to out me like that, man? Why you got to do that?
I ain't no snitch.
Yeah, man. Why you got to do that?
You outed yourself, brother.
You dog strolling some bitch. All right. But yeah, just, this is shit the fat kid notices.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Your ADD at work again?
You say that, and we're going to talk about that later because I got something I want to say on that topic. First, why don't we introduce our guest?
Now, that's a good idea.
I
was going to have you do it.
You want to do it or you want me to do it? Go
ahead, Greg. You see what I'm saying? I'm kind of eager. Go for it. You the man.
Don't make me take this host shit over.
Ooh. You're free to try.
And they
You and your smoking jacket little fopness going on there.
Me and all my goddamn magnificence is what you need.
Yeah, that's true. I do kind of like the jacket. I can't wait to see Larry's. Anyway, so our guest on all of our rights here, he's come into the lounge about the last 2 months and quite frankly become one of the regulars on our Thursday night get together that we all have.
It's enjoyable and creepy at the same time how easy you fit in, brother.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe we should look into this cat's background a little bit, but, maybe not.
I might have been in the lineup. You never know.
Hey.
There's something to be said about our vetting process.
That's true. What vetting process? So he is founder of Danny D's Cigars on Instagram. Got a huge amount of followers. Big, passionate cigar guy. Dan Harrison, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Outstanding.
Okay, I did that. Now it's your turn.
We'll change that.
Yeah, no kidding. Slow down, dude. Let a brother talk. You just jump right in. You got the introduction done. Now you're like, here, now's your turn. What, you ran out of shit to say?
Yeah,
Fire when ready.
Well, hey, let's start off with what we're all drinking and smoking. Well, you and I are drinking Macallan 12.
Greg, that's a Kool-Aid you got there, isn't it?
Yes. Grape flavored in honor of Mr. Robinson here.
Shots fired.
Really? We're going to go there, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, let's start off with our guest. What are you smoking there, Dan?
I got a Tatawahe K222.
Okay.
Reserva.
Nice. I don't think I've had that one.
I've never even heard of that one. But then again, half the stuff that I see on your Instagram page, I'm like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
No.
I got a decent collection.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second here. Lawrence, what are you smoking?
I've got the Esteban Carrera, Mr. Brownstone. Doing the Grande Toro is what they call this, 6x50. It is, I got to sneak at my notes here, Connecticut broadleaf with Ecuadorian Habano binder and a Nicaraguan filler. So its origin, they're saying, is a Nicaraguan cigar. I don't get to Esteban Carrera as often as I should. They have a really good line of cigars out of the humidor here at Tobacco Republic for sure. And if you're buying cigars based on price point, then this is something you need to look at, because in California this is an $8.95 stick right here, and for a $9 cigar, this thing is great. It's probably one of the better under $10 cigars in this humidor.
Okay.
So this one's it says mild or medium to full. I'm going to go a little closer to the full side of that spectrum than the medium, but good flavor. It's a little strong at the beginning, so if you're on an empty stomach, maybe not a great idea, but definitely something that if you haven't looked at anything in Esteban Carrera's line, probably something you should at least try one. In the the flavor profile that you're looking at, if you're mild, medium, or full, they got something there for you, and it's definitely worth a look, because they're pretty good sticks. I've been pretty happy with the ones I've smoked so far.
Right on. Greg, what are you smoking?
I too went into the Esteban Carreras line, and I've got the 5150. It is a Corona size, so it's 40 by 5.5, which is a little bit big for a Corona, but it is. It's a Ecuadorian Sumatra seed wrapper. That's a new one on me because I've smoked this cigar all the time. Never looked it up before. Nicaraguan binder and filler. Origin, of course, is Nicaraguan again. Now, Esteban Carreras rates this as a medium. That's where I kind of got to go opposite with you, Larry. This one to me is more of a mild. This is not a stick that I would classify for that. This is one that I would put a brand new smoker in because the flavor is really good and the power is not really there. So it's just a good all around. And then if I get through this one by the end of the podcast, I've got another one ready to go.
There you go.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into it. Dan, now, you do cigar collecting. We did a previous show talking about, collecting of cigars. Mm-hmm. I don't, personally, I myself normally don't collect cigars. There's a couple of ones that I'll just let sit, like, for instance, this Bandolera. When I realized this was, like, sitting in there for 10 years, it's like, I really don't age cigars, do I?
Well,
and how did you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think there needs to be a distinction made between collecting and hoarding. And from what little I've talked to Dan about his stuff, I think his definition would be more collecting. Where I think all three of ours would be closer to the hoarding side of the spectrum.
Yeah,
and not in a bad way. We like cigars. We have a shitload of cigars.
Yeah,
and we end up with stuff in our humidor for a decent length of time for the simple facts that we either A, lost it in there and forgot it was there, B, can't smoke that many cigars in a time frame, or C, maybe I'll hang on to this because it's the last one I got kind of thing. Yeah. It typically falls, I think, into those three categories, but he's got a different different
and that's
level.
What I'm saying. Yeah, it's like the idea of just, collecting and having them keep versus just I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of collected a lot of different harder to find boxes, limited editions. Tatuaje, that's kind of why I love his brand because he has so many limited runs, boxes of 2,500, boxes of 1,500. You can only get them at certain stores.
Right.
So it's kind of that. I think that and the Halloween series that he had with the monsters.
Yeah.
Really good flavor profiles in it. The fact he does like 666 dress boxes a year, only so many coffins are released. So, I kind of got into a lot of that, but then I've gotten older boxes of Padrones, 2012, some old Liga stuff, some of the original releases, a lot of the Room 101 originals. So it's the harder stuff type cigars is what I like to find.
Okay, now what got you into that?
Needed a good hobby. Worked a lot of overtime and needed a productive way to spend my money. So, a lot of it kind of got stored due to work and not being able to smoke as much. But, you're on your break, you're looking at it, you're finding deals, and you either miss that moment to grab it or you get it.
Got you. Now, where do you get a lot of your cigars from?
It just depends. Different websites. Some of it I purchase, secondhand on eBay. Sometimes I message through Instagram. But a lot of the people that I'm in contact with, we trade. So some of the rare stuff you have, they didn't get to try. Some of the stuff they had, you never got to try because of limited releases. So you just swap cigars, and one thing leads to another, and before you know it, it kind of grows.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know there was that big of a community that did that kind of thing.
That's because we're greedy and don't do that.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get mail drops. We mail drop each other, and it's like, here, you got to check these out.
Sweet.
Because the people that are passionate, that love to smoke cigars, that love to change the flavor profiles, never could get their hands on it. It's like, hey, I got something. You got to try this. Because that person that you send it to, they're going to smoke it.
Right. And you also have an Instagram page, too, where you shared cigars. Let us in on what that page is so good folks out there can check it out.
It's Danny D Cigars.
Okay.
And I got a decent amount of followers. We're trying to grow it right now, and I got a couple little mini giveaways and stuff like that going on. So,
okay,
awesome, man.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
I'm gonna have to get Instagram so I can check this out.
Yeah,
I'm old school, man.
I'm gonna have to pull that. Yeah, so that's awesome, man. And how long have you been in, smoking cigars?
First one I had, I got given one on from a special friend like 14 years ago. He handed me one after work on a Friday when we were going home, and says, "Here, this is the Friday Delight every Friday, right?" So we started that for like about a couple months when I worked with him.
What was your first cigar, if you could remember?
Couldn't tell you, but I can tell you from his collection, it was probably something phenomenal, because after that, it like was implanted in my mind, and I have to ask him to this day. I should ask him.
So we all have our go-to cigar, if you will. What would be your go-to cigar?
My go-to, probably as far as a daily type thing.
Yeah, a common day smoke, if you will.
One of my favorites is the Tatuaje, the Reserva Broadleaf.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't think I've had that one either. I mean, this just shows you there's a whole wide world of cigars and cigar smokers, and you could spend a lifetime finding stuff to smoke.
It's true, because we live in a small little insulated bubble of Tobacco Republic, and we're just now, the three of us are just now starting to break out and travel to different places and see cigars at different shops and experience everything else.
It's funny because we've even commented on this podcast, as well as several times amongst ourselves, groups in here in Tobacco Republic, that, oh man, we're special because of the size of this humidor, which is true. For Northern California, for this area, this is a huge humidor. Yeah. It has a great selection, but we start getting out in the world, and Greg's been up to the Vault in Meridian, Idaho, and neither Scott or I have been there yet, but from what we've heard from Greg and a couple other people that have been there and seeing, stuff online and videos that they've shown, it's another shop, in comparison to something like we're sitting in right here, but it has an entirely different vibe. Well, vibe's not even the right word. Just the cigar selection.
Yeah.
Because of that proprietor, he has different tastes than this proprietor, and I don't think it really dawned on us how drastically different regions of the state, different regions of the country, just different cigar establishments, whether it's a lounge or just a walk-in, purchase humidor, are going to be from one place to another. And we've been to, you go up to Reno, to Perfecto, and it's a completely different, or not Perfecto, God, I just shot that in the foot. Fumari. Man, I am sorry, Fumari.
And then don't forget Ruiz, which you turned Scott and I on to.
And Ruiz, a small market vendor up there with some great sticks. But Ruiz is kind of in a different category, because everything in Ruiz's shop is Ruiz's
It's
cigars.
a house cigar. But see, you touched upon something as far as vibe goes. I think you would have been right using the word vibe, because depending on the cigars that are there, like for instance, Ruiz, we have a place locally out here in Midtown Sacramento that does nothing but their house cigars. Mm-hmm. And I think the shop gets its vibe from the cigars it sells.
Absolutely.
When that one shop that was over in Pavilions in Fair Oaks out here, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I remember the one you're talking about, but I don't remember the name either.
Yeah, was it It wasn't a Tinderbox. It was
Tinderbox was in Sunrise Mall.
Yeah, and in Arden Fair at one time.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, they had some top shelf cigars at the time, and it contributed to a certain vibe in the shop.
Yeah.
So,
and then what was Folsom was DR Cigars.
Yes.
You guys remember that place?
Very vaguely. Isn't that in downtown Folsom?
Yeah, there used to be. Now there is a new shop that opened up on the corner of where Greenback and Madison and Folsom Auburn come together.
Yeah.
But
there used to be something there before, and then it went out, and then another place went back in that spot. Yeah,
that was DR originally. I think
the original DR that was out off of like Bidwell or something in Folsom, it's been years ago. You walk in that place, it was the best way I can describe it, where I think that most people will get this, is if you ever gone into a sports card shop or a comic book store that was run by a hoarder.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what DR Cigars was, man. There was shit stacked everywhere, and there was no telling what you'd find in there. You could go in there 25 days in a row and be surprised probably 20 out of the 25. And it was just, there was no space. You're, crowding in between stuff. And then there was a table that, like a kitchen table that like 3 or 4 guys sat around drinking coffee, playing cards. It was a different environment for sure, but had some great sticks and stuff I'd never heard of. It's like, oh yeah, I'll smoke it. What the hell? What's the worst that could happen?
Mm-hmm.
But
well, and that shows to show you the breadth and width of shops too, because let's go to Pennsylvania, where I stopped into CI's. Up at that point was their main shop there in Bethlehem. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a warehouse style cigar lounge, and it wasn't. It was a beautifully appointed, take Dion's lounge and multiply it by 10 in terms of size, and the entire lounge was the humidor. There was no separate room.
Have you seen the pictures of Rocky's Lounge in Oklahoma City?
I've seen the pictures of Burn in Naples, but not Oklahoma City.
Wow. I mean, that place looks like it's off the hook. Naples too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the whole lounge thing is kind of changing, I think. And I'm hoping COVID hasn't put the brakes on that for some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, just a completely different vibe from one place to another. When we go down to Southern California, there's a little place in Oceanside that's been there forever, Cigar Grotto. Same husband and wife have had it for like 28, 30 years. And it is literally the size of the humidor here at Tobacco Republic.
Where is that? Is that Gas Lamp?
No, it's in Oceanside, right
okay.
Well, it's Coast Highway now. It used to be Hill Street when I was a kid, but
right.
Yeah, it's right up from the pier
okay.
in Oceanside. And for a tiny little shop, he's got a great selection. You might not be able to go in there and buy 5 boxes of something, but you can get 5 sticks from a hell of a selection of cigars in there. So it's neat to see how people utilize the space they have, the passion that they have for this industry based on, what they like to smoke. Is look at this place in the Lanceros. You walk in here, if you know anything about cigars, it is painfully obvious that the owner of this establishment smokes Lanceros a lot. There's a shitload of them. I have never seen that many Lanceros anywhere else I've ever been.
In the American market, you won't, because it's, Dan and I were talking about this last Thursday, I think. The Lancero is not something that smokes here, because the price point, American consumers are, how did we say it, Dan? Price conscious?
Yeah. On price point, on how much they're going to spend on it, and they think the bigger the cigar, the better the cigar, which isn't always the case.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, more tobacco, better the cigar. And it's even for as long as I've been smoking cigars, it's hard for me to go to a Lancero. I understand now that if I like something in a Toro, I'm going to get a stronger, different aspect of that same cigar in a Lancero. And I've done that a few times where, okay, let's try it in a Lancero. But for whatever reason, just a Lancero is just not my go-to. Maybe because I'm 275 and I look funny, holding a little bitty. If I'm going to go to that, I'm going to a Camel filter. But
well, I was gifted one the other night, and this monster is a 70 ring gauge.
Wow.
Oh, you were saying something about that.
Yeah, and Matt wants me to review it, so I will. I'll smoke it and review it.
What was it?
It's an Alec Bradley.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the thing's gigantic. Insert pun of choice here.
I'm not saying a word.
Yeah.
I'm being good. Let me roll back over to talking to you, Dan. You do some philanthropic stuff as well. You want to touch upon that a little bit? You're talking about giving back to children with autism.
Yeah. You get the dictionary out for that one, man?
It's called a college education.
Whoa! There we go.
Yeah, basically, I kind of started this little giveaway thing. which I didn't know how it was going to go when I started it. And my daughter got diagnosed with autism. So this is kind of how the whole thing came about. But it had been a long little run trying to get her with the proper diagnosis, in the right treatment, different schools. So it's been a hell of a journey. And I didn't realize how broad the spectrum was until I started doing a little bit more homework on it and everything else. And then I had talked to a lot of people on Instagram. I've got DM messages. We've had personal communication. So it's been a huge outreach. The cigar community has been like huge support behind it. And it's kind of just to raise autism awareness, because there's so many people that either know someone on the spectrum or have a child in the spectrum.
Yeah, matter of fact, my nephew has autism as well. So, really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's outstanding.
So it's one of those things. I didn't know how the response was going to be, and it's been uncanny. It really has been a phenomenal response for it.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Now, to jump in on something you and I were talking about the other night, on your when you're doing the Instagram, and it's funny because you're doing stuff that I look at and like, what? How am I supposed to figure that out? Because I don't know. Social media is a mystery to me, but tell us about that, about the Instagram lives where you're smoking, you're talking to various people all over the country.
The lives is kind of something I started because, with the giveaway and everything else, it was honestly, when I started, outside my comfort zone. I'd never gone on Instagram before, really. Not like that, post a couple of pictures of cigars, whatever. But as it's progressed and I've met so many great people, I end up talking with people that are in Germany. We'll do Humidor tours. I got people in New York, people in Florida. So you can get on live, and I'll be smoking with someone in Canada, Montreal. Another person's in Florida. Another one's in Germany. So just the fact that how it connects the community, and it's so big. And, a lot of us trust the community more than what's written in the papers, because if you've smoked it, personal experience sometimes goes farther than what's written down.
Amen.
Yeah, that's something that we've always talked about. We have a couple of episodes where we talk about reviews and the whole idea of, I'm not going to start naming names or anything, but, depending on the amount of ad space you pay for, your cigar is now prominent and it's considered, cigar of the month, cigar of the year. I just don't, and I don't disrespect anybody because, our good friends over at How About That Cigar, they did the top 10 or 20 cigars of the year.
Top 10 of their opinion, which
is of their opinion. I respect that.
I respect it too. I also agreed with many of them.
Yeah, they had some good picks on there for sure.
But it just, just because you would agree with it doesn't mean I would agree with it. It's like everybody's cigar journey is a personal one.
Absolutely.
So you can't, really put it in a box. I guess you can use it for guidance, but you got to take it with a grain of salt, I think. But when you start getting to this point of this is the cigar of the year, you gave the perfect example of the Andalusian Bull, which was at one time cigar of the year.
Yep.
Not bad. I mean,
it's
cigar
not a
of the
bad
year,
cigar.
I kind of go, but as far as a stick, it's a good stick. It's a fun stick to smoke, but, raise it to the pinnacle of something like that, saying this is the cigar of the year. But the fact is, intrinsically, there are so many cigars. Yes. How can you narrow it down to cigar of the year? There's cigars you don't even know about.
Well, and that's what I was thinking about it the other day. Because typically, you guys toddle off a little bit after 6 when the shop closes. Toddle. Anyway,
Larry.
So
hold on, no, you can't get away with that. And just keep going. Just keep proceeding on.
Apparently, that's English.
Okay, fine. Okay. Larry goes home to put the feed bag on. You go home to put the booze bag on. Are we getting better?
Well, I put the feed bag on too. It's not like I drink all the time.
Okay. Well, anyway, toddle works. So just shut the hell up. So. You guys
apparently we've struck a nerve.
You guys typically leave a little bit earlier than I do, and last couple Thursdays, Dan and I have sat here till probably about 7:30, just shooting the shit because that's what we do. That's what cigar smokers do typically. And
Scott, apparently we're not shooting the shit.
Apparently not.
I've seen Scott shoot.
And you're
I'm glad he didn't say he's seen your shit. I'm just saying.
Now, nobody said.
Did you see how quiet he got there for a second?
No.
Everybody's like, pump the brakes. We're going to crash.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's just said he's seen how I shoot. Yet he's still talking.
Yeah.
You do realize I don't even need a gun?
He's flapping his gums. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, whatever, you know, it might give them some sort of small entertainment to watch
My
death.
wife rolled one out the other day, and I had to stop look at her. Bumping the soup coolers. I'm like, when the hell did you get that?
What?
Was she whittling while she was saying it?
Yeah, in a rocking chair. With a banjo. But no, it's...
I've totally lost my train of thought now.
See, that's what happens, man,
more
when
of a
you start
caboose-
using
more
English
of a caboose
terms.
of thought.
Toddle.
Yeah,
That's
toddle.
your own fault. Toddle.
Well, anyway, no, that's what it was.
That's what happened. His train of thought toddled off.
Yeah. Dan and I were talking
one.
about that, and you know, this number's older. It's probably not the true number anymore. But at one point, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, there were about 7,500 different manufacturer lines on the market. Yeah. I don't even know what to think about it is today. But that's the hard part is, you know, 80, 90 lines in here plus Davidoff. I'm only seeing a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Well, and then look at that from the other side of the spectrum. You know, back when we talked to Sinestro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, how would you even consider in this day and age, hey, I'm gonna start manufacturing cigars? Holy Christ. You know, look what you're up against. Just to get something to market where you can put it in front of some people.
Yeah.
Is the undertaking involved in something like that is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But hey, God bless you, sir, for doing that, and everybody else out there. But man,
And we'll continue to enjoy them too. So keep putting them out.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what I really like about it is there's a lot of boutique cigars that are coming out, the boutique lines, right? And so over the last 5 years, you've watched a lot of them grow, and they either become big players in the game or they fall off, right? So you've watched a lot of boutiques grow, but what's happened is the boutiques have gotten so good that they're getting comparable with the top brands.
Yeah.
And they're affordable. So the fact that the boutiques are getting so good, you're not going to put out a worse cigar than you did last time. So what it's doing is raising the bar for everything. So the whole market is actually growing and evolving. And I believe personally that the cigars are getting better over time.
Yeah.
and here's a question for you. Well, for all of you guys too, but would you say that the growth of the boutique industry, not just in cigars, but in craft alcohol, remember back, let's go back 10, 12, 15 years, there were no craft breweries.
Right, right.
Okay, look how huge that market got, how fast. Do you think that success has kind of pushed some of these other industries to try something that maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago they wouldn't even have considered?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the internet's part of it too.
Yeah, no,
Because
that's true.
The
Yeah, for sure.
resources are now available to be able to do that type of stuff.
Yeah, because you can mass market, you know, all around the globe now a hell of a lot easier than you could even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just the whole aspect, you know, we saw it with craft beer. Now we're seeing it with craft distilleries. Craft distilleries are everywhere.
But even all the way down to Etsy. I mean, people selling clothing and different stuff they've made.
Yeah, no,
handcrafted,
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's gotten a lot bigger.
And I think boutique cigars was just the next evolution for this industry. And yeah, there's been some great stuff, and the marketing aspect of that. You know, even look at the small rollers. You know, Felix Martinez comes to mind. Who's a guy that rolls through this shop once in a while and through the Northern California area for special events and stuff. And he, through his family connections, he gets great tobacco.
Yeah.
And he makes a great product, and he's able to market that to a large enough sphere that it's a successful business for him.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just, to me, that just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just such a...
I think that's just indicative of the 21st century
Yeah.
because everyone's able to talk to each other. This is the positive side of social media and the internet, is the fact that everyone can talk to each other. Whereas you take, you know, in the early 90s, it would have been kind of difficult for me to contact somebody and say, hey, I'm looking for some tobacco. I want to get into rolling or do whatever. Whereas now, a couple of emails, a few connections here and there, and I can reach out globally to someone or reach out and find someone in the Caribbean who's got like a shitload of tobacco they want to unload.
Yeah, you get online, you can reach 500,000 people
right
in the same time it took you to make a phone call to the Dominican Republic.
Exactly.
And that's just, it's done so much to change, just our world in general, but in our little, niche specific, vice, hobby, whatever you want to call this,
addiction.
Yeah. No,
but in
sure.
all things,
I
though,
prefer hobby.
I mean, in all things, tobacco, craft, alcohol, music. Hell, I remember in like around 2001, 2002, there was a site, I'm just talking about music now, I think it was mp3.com. And basically it was a library of all these amateur, semi-professional artists putting out this music, recorded on MP3 and putting it up on the site. You could sample it. You could buy their CD. I mean, it turned to it was the biggest game changer since Napster.
Yep.
Whereas it's like, hey, I can buy one song for this much money instead of buying the whole album, or I can buy the whole album with your internet connection. Now, it would have taken all night to download it compared to now, but still.
Now, the flip side of that, I miss seeing the dude on the street corner with a card table selling his cassette tapes.
You notice how NWA got their start.
No, I'm well aware, man. I'm from Southern California.
Rhodium swap meet.
Yep.
I remember
Yep.
I remember garage bands, and backyard parties with bands that, are mainstream names now, guys that were just playing together out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's the internet for sure has definitely moved us along at a faster pace than I think anything else, in our lifetimes at least.
Well, yeah. But, bringing the subject back to cigars, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think the boutique cigars has raised the game where the, let's say, for lack of a better word, the mainstream, there you go, the mainstream manufacturers have had to up their game to keep up with the boutique cigar manufacturers, which is a very good thing.
It's good for both sides of the industry.
It absolutely is.
Because it forces the focus to be on the product.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, and I don't want to say you don't have to market, because you do, but to a certain extent now, the marketing kind of does itself.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but kind of. You can spend more time, more energy, more money on the end product than having to spend a crap load of money advertising and marketing a inferior product.
Right. I agree. Yeah. And I think, the social media aspect, what we're doing, what Dan's doing, what other people are doing, it helps out a lot. I posted on the guy's page today. He posted up in one of the groups that I follow, have you ever smoked an Island Jim? What should I expect? And having smoked that cigar, I was able to tell him, hey, it's a great stick. These kind of flavors, if this is what you're looking for, you'll love it. And we have become the marketing agent for the manufacturers.
For the product.
Yes.
Yeah. No, in every aspect. Whether it's a car, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a whatever.
Well, yeah.
You can get 20 million opinions, like that. And that's interesting, and how you view things, because, I mean, we're all kind of creatures of habit. You see a bunch of, oh, man, don't this is the taste on this, whether it's bourbon, whether it's cigars, whether it's whatever, I will steer away from something that a lot of people that I'm familiar with don't like.
Yeah.
Because, okay, let me gravitate towards something that I'm seeing some more positive things about. So, right. Yeah, it's a cool aspect that, you didn't really have before, for sure.
What I think is kind of cool about it is you being on the social media and you see other countries, you have people over there, like in Germany, the cigars they get, the ones in Montreal, stuff that we can't touch. that we sit there and kind of drool over. We're like, oh, wow, look at that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The regional editions, all this type of stuff. So it's like, and then we come back and they look at our stuff and they're like, wow, and they look at ours and they feel the same way. So it's like, it's really cool to see what's available there, their price points,
Yeah.
you know, their lounges, what everything's like. It's a whole different thing. And it's like, if you're going to go visit somewhere, you can reach out on Instagram to someone that you follow, one of your friends or whatever. Hey, I'm going to be in the area in 2 weeks. Let's meet up for a cigar bar, which I've had happen. Let's meet up. We'll go meet up and smoke a couple cigars, talk this and that and the other. But I mean, there's never better than having your own personal tour guide that lives in that town. That's going to show you the best spots and put you onto the best cigars.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's very cool. I like that.
Phenomenal experience.
Yes. How are those cigars working out for you? Let's go over to Greg. How's that smoke?
As expected, you know, Esteban Carreras, it's a solid line. So, you know, I've got enjoyable flavors, goes good with my coffee. Can't complain.
How about you, Lawrence?
Same thing. This is mellowed out a little bit as we're coming, you know, into the body of the cigar, but it's still very flavorful. It's I don't know if I'd say chocolate, but it's like a woody, nutty flavor on this, I would say. And
I have a unique experience with that particular stick. To me, you know that kind of soapy aftertaste some people get with cilantro?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I get with that stick. It doesn't ruin the experience for me. It's just puzzling that would come out off my palate, you know?
I haven't got that at all. But, you know, let's say I'll let you know.
Right.
But, yeah, no, I'm still real happy with this.
Dan, how's yours?
Phenomenal as always. One of my favorites. A little bit of salt to it, a little bit of cocoa notes. It's really turning on the floral flavors to it. So it's starting to really open up.
Okay. Now, the description that was given through the reviews, you know, cocoa, leather, and chocolate. And I had one review say this has a lot of spice to it, but I think because it aged 10 years or so, the spice is gone away.
Kind of leveled off, yeah.
It's leveled off. The aftertaste after smoking this for a while, I'm getting a hint of white pepper. That's about it. But I'm not getting a sweetness, though. But it's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the Bandolero as much as I enjoy an Atabay. You know, this is good stuff. I'm not sorry that this is the last one.
But I know someone with more of those.
Do you now?
Yeah.
We'll have to have. Wait a minute. I take that back. I don't know if I told this story before, but your brother gave me that Christmas gift one year in the Starbucks. Okay, he puts it in a Starbucks box. I think it's had like, you know, some fruity tea or something.
No, it was the peppermint bark box from Starbucks.
Okay, so it's a peppermint bark box. I don't know what happened when I put it in my house. I think my wife grabbed it or I put it in there with the coffee. So a couple of years later,
This year, in fact.
yeah, this year, Sue comes up to me and says, you might want to open that box. It's like, well, it says peppermint bark. I don't. So open it up. It's 2 Bandoleros in there. Almost threw them away, and I'm just like, immediately went into my humidor. It's like, yeah, they'll stay in there for about 4 or 5 months before I smoke them.
Yeah,
See if I can bring them back.
The water pillow was dry,
Yes.
but they plumed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And they have plume on them. And that's it. I don't know if we want to have
That's
that
a topic
discussion
for
or
another
later.
show.
Yeah,
because that's its own show.
Yeah,
in
no,
itself.
that's a whole show explaining that to people.
yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, thank you. I forgot about the plume because I was just like, like I found the lost Ark of the Covenant.
Wow.
Hence, the fez will fit nicely. We're just taking off that pink frickin' tassel.
70-30.
Yeah, we're getting pictures of it first.
Yeah, not on my head.
Well, you know.
You see, I can't-
Don't say never, man. We got plenty of Russian standard.
Fuck. Don't mess with me and my splendor. Look at it. This is beautiful. Speaking of, now, if you're on YouTube right now, you can check out my sensational, or as Greg would say, fabulous smoking jacket.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would. When are you getting your smoking jacket, by the way?
I don't know. In the future.
Homebox here got to throw a crowbar in his wallet to spend that kind of money on a smoking jacket. This guy.
No, I have no problem putting down for a new rifle, but you're
this
right.
guy squeezed a nickel till the buffalo shits. And
I'm not your father, okay? I'm not that tight.
so I'm perusing smoking jackets right now, but here's the problem. My ADD kicks in, and I'm like over on Marketplace looking at old truck parts. So I got to focus on getting the smoking jacket, which segues into something I want to talk about real quick. I had somebody trying to explain to me why their kid is a pain in the ass, and there were all these names, all these things that came up that caused this child to be a problem. You know, ADD, ADHD, this, that, the other, you know, bipolar, schizophrenic. I'm not putting any one of these things down. I am firmly aware that, let's use ADD as an example, that it exists because I have it horribly. I make Scooby-Doo look like a genius. All I'm saying is I was born in 1968. I grew up through the 70s and 80s. Number one, they didn't call it ADD, ADHD. You were high energy. Yeah, that boy got a lot of energy. That's why they made you play 9 sports and why they made you mow every lawn in the neighborhood with a real mower. You know, the kind that turned the blades when you push, the wheels turned the blades. That was the cure for ADD back then. If that didn't work, the other cure came from Montgomery Ward, and it was about 2.5 inches wide and anywhere from 34 to 50 inches, depending on the size of your father. And it was a belt, and they whipped your ass. That was the cure. But now, you know, and I want you to, Scott, you think about this, man.
All right.
As a 10, 11-year-old kid, your mother's telling you to clean your room. And you're trying to explain to your mother that you have a problem.
Stop. You said explain.
That just ruins it right there.
Explain. Okay. I'm anxious to hear. No, I'm intrigued.
No, I screwed it up already.
No, you have my attention.
But you're trying to communicate to your mother that because of your bipolar disorder, you're not, that's hard for you. You're not able to do that. And as I'm hearing this, I'm thinking about my mother. I come off in 1978, I come off with some bullshit like that. My mom was like, you better get your ass in there and clean that room and take that other son of a bitch with you, and you should be able to get it done in half the time because you got help. Hey, wait up, I'm schizophrenic. I hear voices. That's me telling you to clean your goddamn room. You know, that's the kind of shit you got in the late 70s, early 80s. Now, not so much, but
yeah, I wish it would have did that one. The next thing that would have happened was I regained consciousness and hear sleigh bells and shit. And it's like, wait, is it Christmas already? I thought it was February.
Scotty's going to make it. God, heaven help us. He came out of the coma. No, I just.
Now clean your room.
Yeah. Dude, some of this stuff nowadays, man, it just cracks me up. You look at this stuff and you're like, damn, that kid really thinks that's going to work. But the shitty thing is, people in our generation have screwed this up, so now that shit does work. You know, it's like, man, if I tried to pull that on my pop, man, he'd been like, what? I'm sorry? That's when you knew you'd screwed up, man, with my father. If he gave you I'm sorry? Oh, because what he's telling you, he's not telling you he didn't hear you, he didn't understand. What he is giving you is a warning that you're going to be sorry in a second.
Yep. He's giving you a second to go, I was just joking. Good one, huh, Dad?
Or run, you know?
Yeah.
Because the old man's 68 years old. He ain't catching you, but whew.
No, you don't have to catch you. Just wait till you get back.
Yeah, you got to come home sometime. Mm-hmm. But, no, man, it just... that's the downside of progress, I guess.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I just remember my dad, when I was a little kid, you know, Dad was a construction worker. So to me, it's like, I see him, you know, driving his truck. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I'm thinking he's got big, giant dock worker arms and shit. That thick-ass tool belt. Yeah, don't get hit with that.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
The cure for ADD, man. Montgomery Ward.
The type of guys who wear Carhartt who actually work.
Dude, it wasn't Carhartt back then.
I know.
It was Sears.
Yep.
What? Hold on. The camera pan over to Greg here. Greg's lost. Come on,
I am
man.
fully aware of the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
You are you?
Yeah, remember, man, his dad worked with knives for a living.
Yes, he did. My dad's butcher for years
Good
upon
point.
years. And Dad didn't buy his knives from Sears. Dad bought his from Hinkle or one of the other.
Well, yeah,
Back then, they were really good manufacturers.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's the tools of that man's trade.
Woolstoff, Hinkle.
And you know how many sets he'd go through a year? 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, when you're using those every day,
Yeah.
you know, electrician don't use the same set of screwdrivers his entire career. It's the same thing.
That's right.
Ooh, man.
Oh man.
Memories.
Don't sing that song.
Don't worry, man. That's as far as I'm going.
Let me just push his button here and roll cats up here.
Wow.
Roll what?
Never mind.
You lost me.
Good.
It's English.
We'll keep that.
Okay.
Floyd Weber.
What?
Never mind.
Hey, camera monkey, you're about to get promoted. Greg, Anthony, switch places.
Wow.
Anthony can buy my chair out. How much money you got?
Oh,
Dollar
wait.
$1.37 going once, going twice.
Wait. That is Larry's son. If he pulls out a pimp roll and throws some money at you,
You better be careful, man. You don't know. He's talking about somebody's tighter than a bark on a tree. I think he's got 50 cents of the first dollar he ever made.
he comes up to you just like a Pac-Man and just throw the money out and say, "Get out." We shouldn't be so mean to our producer.
What's going to stop you and change now?
We should be nicer.
Yeah, whatever.
Good God. So when's this show go up?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
So it's a scramble. It's a scramble to edit the video and get everything ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, God bless you, sir.
Good man.
But yeah, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
I guess we'll pull back the reins on some of the shit we were going to mess with.
Or should I say today at 9 a.m.
Oh, yeah. Good times. And
If
then,
you're listening to this, it's already up.
wow.
Good point.
Hey, you don't have to hit us with the totally obvious. The merely obvious will be just fine.
I prefer the totally obvious. It's more fun.
Jesus.
It's more English.
Oh!
You had that one coming.
Hey, at the risk, I know better than to ask this. I do.
You don't
But
care.
you're gonna do it
But
anyway.
yeah, because I'm a shitty person and I don't care.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
How did you get on this whole English kick?
I think Scott's seen this program before. I don't know if you two might have, but when I was younger,
Benny Hill?
staying
Okay.
at Grandma's house, she would watch Are You Being Served when it came on in the afternoon. And for those that don't know what that is, it's a hilarious program about a department store in England. And if you've worked in retail, you'll appreciate it
What?
because it's true. And that started liking English television.
How old were you?
10 or 11.
How sheltered was this person as a child that an English television show altered the fucking course of his life? Grandma English?
German.
I'm fucking confused. See.
Remember what you started this line of
No,
questioning
I
as saying.
knew. I fully was aware before I opened my mouth. This was going to be a fucking train wreck. I knew it, but I just you can't help yourself sometimes, man. And I don't, you know.
I mean, I watched English. I mean, I can't say I haven't watched English programming. I remember Are You Being Served, Benny Hill, The Goodies, Benny Hill was fucking hilarious, by the way.
The music was the
Yes,
best.
and the
when
old
he,
bald
when he was riding the bicycle. What the fuck is this? The only time we watched that is when we couldn't,
Channel 3 wouldn't come on the rabbit ears.
Yeah. Somebody took the tinfoil off the rabbit ears. Back when I was the TV remote. Get up and change the channel. What the fuck? Hey, I'd like to tell you I was doing my homework, but obviously by my life choices, we can see that's not the case.
Wasn't there a point at one point where remotes were actually wired to the television? You had a long cable?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
I just don't know. So at that point, when you watched Are You Being Served, you decided, I want to be English. So you basically started having tea and crumpets, and what else did they fucking do back then? What else did the English do back then,
Wearing
Greg?
knickers in the 6th grade.
Asking your dad if you could go to boarding school.
Were you guys?
You know how well that turned out, didn't you?
Were you still in San Jose at this point?
Yes.
Oh my God! Could you imagine him wearing knickers and Dude, you got the shit beat out of you on the daily. There's the little son of a bitch now. Get him. Orale pues, chase him down.
Grandma and Grandpa lived a block and a half from Los Gatos. They were in a good area.
Oh, okay. $5 English.
Yes. But that was the course. You saw that and just said, I want to be English now.
I just liked English. I've always liked English television. They do the best documentaries. We don't know how to do them here. We have all these different mainstream actors. Over there, you got one guy. I don't know what they're going to do when Sir David Attenborough dies, because they ain't going to have a narrator for their...
Well, they had Sir Laurence Olivier at one point narrating The World at War.
True.
So...
in the 40s.
Yeah, I know. I know a little bit about English, but I just didn't decide to put on a bolo hat and a monocle and walk down to East Sheffield.
Well, hey, based on what's going on in our judicial system here in this country, Prince, what's his name's going to be looking for a job, so maybe he can start narrating that shit.
He doesn't have the voice for it yet. He's too young.
I don't think he'll ever have the voice in it.
Yeah, let him do a couple years in prison.
But then his voice might be higher.
We can pretend he's a queen.
This is really spiraling down the drain very, very quickly.
Yeah, but it's English. Nobody gives a shit. Even if there's people listening to us in the UK right now, they're going to go, hey, that fat kid's got a point. So,
my apologies to our listeners in the UK.
All two of them that we don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be back.
Yeah, they're just over watching the last episode of Downtown Abbey. They'll come right back. You all right? Got him.
That's good.
See how Dad's over here. We've completely ignored our guest. Now Dad's over here laughing on the side, going, "How in the fuck have these guys done 54 episodes?"
Oh no, this is great. This is pure entertainment.
He's just like, "Damn."
It really is.
He's thinking, Jesus, how much more successful can I be if these fuckers have made 54 episodes?
Who the fuck said we were successful?
Hey, in our own minds.
It's all in good fun. There's never a dull moment here, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's and I'm avoiding using this term. Let's go back to Dan. I'm not going to use the other term.
You don't want to circle back?
Shut up. Now, see, there's no scotch in this glass, so I wouldn't feel bad about throwing it against your head.
We're back to dark again.
You need to
It's been a long run since Scott's been dark.
You need to be more observant. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Pay attention to your surroundings.
Yes. It's called situational awareness, Greg.
Observation gets you into trouble. Moving on.
This is the bear in the forest with a target on his chest. Hey, bummer of a birthmark, Greg.
Remind the good people out there how they can reach out to you, and anybody basically can get onto your Instagram and join you for a smoke, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
I accept most. I mean, I've had a couple interesting ones try and get on, so I mean, I am selective, but yeah. They DM me, we'll schedule it,
Oh, cool. Okay, so it's a schedule. So you can schedule it any day versus just, do you have a set time you do it? Or
It kind of depends on how my day goes, with whatever the day prioritizes, business phone calls, everything else. So it kind of depends. But I mean, I try and get on minimum of 1 time a day. Yesterday was 3 times. It just depends. You know, I get people that hit me up. We'll get on, smoke cigars, about an hour, hour and a half, and just
Right on.
you know, go back and forth, see what they're smoking and see what the viewers are smoking, get recommendations, you know, kind of talk about different flavor profiles and, you know, how much work actually goes into it for this to become this, you know, from a seed.
From seed to stick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a whole process.
That's outstanding.
Now, here's a little input for our viewers, with the exception of one, and you know who you are. We'd like you to tell us that you're out there, too.
Ah, yes, the call to action.
Not the greatest, but it works.
No, it'll do.
Good enough for who it's for.
Pretty much. That's one of your favorite expressions.
That's right.
Oh.
What do you think that means?
I don't know.
I mean, do I have to put up a flag?
Yes.
Circle back, would you?
Oh, I'm not going to live that down. This is so bad. Anyway, looks like my smoke's getting down to the nub and the scotch glass is empty, so it's about that time, even though Greg doesn't realize it. I want to thank our audience out there, thank our guest, Dan Harrison, and on behalf of all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, thank you for listening. Check us out at LumaCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Also, follow Dan on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. Drop us a line and let us know you're out there. I'm Scott Robinson, and from all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to chatting with you on the next episode. But until then, stay healthy and safe, and good smoke, good drink, good life, and blow some good smoke up to good dog Reno. We miss you, buddy.
Later, Reno.
That's right.